Welcome to the Creative Industry Insight podcast, a podcast that looks at various roles in the creative world. I'm your host, Bobby. Today's guests, producers Ditton, Matlock and andJ.P Ouellette, join us to talk about their work on Mass. Please be warned, there are heavy spoilers in this episode, so make yourself comfortable as we jump into the conversation with Ditton and andJ.P. andJ.P and Ditton, thank you for joining me today.
Thank you for having us.
I do like it when I get somebody reaches out to me and giving me these opportunities to talk to people, and especially producers of a film like Mass as well. That's just come out in the UK. Specifically subscribed to a streaming site that is streaming Mass in the UK at the moment, so that I could watch it and everything and not be disturbed and have that, like, the ability to watch it.
Nice.
But no, what an incredible film. And as well, it's insane to think about how many awards that the film has been nominated for, like even from recently a BAFTA to some Film Independent Spirit Awards. I know I'm starting from the end, but like, how have you found the reception of the film and all the sort of awards and press that you're getting for it?
It's really very exciting. When you start out, you don't really know any of that stuff. We were able to get into Sundance, and from there it started to build, and the excitement started to build. And just looking at our Rotten Tomato score, and just all the critics and all the fans have been really incredible and reaching out to us. We get reached out to all the time by people that are just inspired by the movie, and that's been thrilling. And like you said, we just got a BAFTA and some Film Independent awards. We won the Robert Altman one for Best Ensemble. So yeah, it's been an exciting award season.
Do you find as well that you probably need to change all your posters now to be like BAFTA nominated film, or just to sort of?
No, we'll have to. This will be a good way to start getting the word out, and then we'll change the posters later.
No, it's great. It was very impressive as well to see all the awards that have been nominated. Let's jump back to the beginning. So how did the script land on your desks, and at what point whilst reading it did you think, we need to make this, we need to get the rights to this, we need to get our hands on this and make it straight away?
Yeah, it came to me, I think it was April of 2019, and we worked with Fran in the past, and I just bumped into him at a cookout of all places. We were barbecuing and catching up. A friend was leaving town, and we just started talking. He told me what he's working on. I just sold a script, so he was just kind of picking my brain about it, the process, and just asked me to read Mass as a friend, as a colleague. He kind of undersold it a bit. I did not know it was a awards caliber first draft right out the gate. So yeah, I read it, and I knew, once I was reading it, I knew at the midpoint that we were making the movie. I was on page about 50, where Martha's character has almost an accusatory request. I don't want to give it away too much, but once I read that line of the script, I knew I was making the film. And but I still had to read the rest. I was like, oh man, what happens? Because the script reads like a mystery, reads like a great mystery novel, that each page you're just turning and figuring out another piece. It's really wonderful. And then once I got to the end, I was just floored. I ended up crying twice reading, which I never do. We get so many scripts and so much material that I'm able to just kind of disconnect a lot and just put it, compartmentalize it into the work category in my brain and just get through it and stuff like this. But this one would not stop getting through to me emotionally. So, and I finished it at about 1:30 in the morning and called Fran. I think I woke him up, and I was like, hey, I just read your script. I'm like, we have to make this movie. He's like, wait, what? Like, he was just sending me the notes for notes, and he's like, all right, what do we do? I go, I don't know. It's 1:30 in the morning. Let's talk tomorrow and make a game plan. So that was April of 2019. And we were picture wrapped November 2019. So it was the fastest process we've ever been a part of. So it was kind of amazing.
Well, that's very, very quick, like turnaround from basically getting the script and making it. Sometimes you hear stories that people, take some 20, 30 years just to make something. And it's just, wow, literally.
He was personally working on it and researching this very sensitive topic for over 4 years. So the work he put in, it was a lot. It was, and it shows in the script, all his research is just kind of peppered throughout. It's not in your face. There's nothing waving anything in front of you. It's all very subtle. And like I said, it's a mystery and it unfolds piece by piece. And it was just so well designed, and it took him years to do that. And sometimes, usually when Dylan and I get a script, it'll take us a year just to get it, get some funding, get it out around town, get some buzz going about it. Get a casting director interested. Sometimes that whole process takes what feels like forever. But with this one, we just knew it was special. We had to move. Fran had a acting job for his HBO show starting in January of 2021. So we just knew we had to get it all done. There's a lot of power and as an independent filmmaker when you just kind of pick a date. And we just said, hey, October, we're going to be boots on the ground in Idaho with our casting director, booking everybody in New York and LA, and just figuring out the shoot. Like, there was a lot of power in it. So yeah, we moved really, really fast.
You were mentioning as well about securing, like it will take like sometimes a year just to secure funding. How did the funding process differ on a film like this? And then on top of that, you also have got a really, really amazing cast. Like, how do you sort of sell them the idea of getting them on board on a film like this?
Yeah, for casting, we were very lucky. We already had Reed Birdie attached from the start of the script. It goes back from when Fran and him were back in the Broadway days, working together, working in theater. And so we were lucky to already have a Tony award-winning actor signed on. So that kind of really helped with us. And then reaching out to the other actors. Again, we had an amazing script. We had some help with some of the people that Fran knew already. And then we had like first money in. It was just getting first money in. It was like a small little start that we had. And from there, we were able to build. And like we said, we're like, hey, we're going if you guys are in or not. And everyone kind of saw the pieces that we were putting together and jumped on board with investments.
Did it make it easier as well, just to sell it to people that it's mainly going to be in one room, like a producer's dream, that you just have that one location? You don't need to worry about all the moves and everything. You're just going to be.
It kind of helps when you have like, I hate to use the word cheap, but as a producer, you have stuff you're like, well, how at the level that I'm producing, how can I make this possible? And the fact that we're like, okay, it's just going to be in one room. It makes a lot of logistical problems that need to be solved with money. That was kind of off the table. You were able to have that in place. That made it a lot easier. And it was kind of fun that once we found our location, we brought everybody out there. It was almost kind of like summer camp. Just, we set up in one at a church. We were set up there the whole time, and everyone in Idaho, and it was perfect.
No, it's good. It's like, it's always, those are the sort of producer's dream. One location, don't worry, don't need to move, don't need to do this, don't need to do that. We're all here, we're all going to be set up. And then there's also no turnaround time in the morning to set up lights or anything, because you've got everything quite already sorted. That's the thing, is just the effectiveness of the film is four people having a conversation. They're sitting down. I guess if you have the idea to someone else, it's a bit, if I'd explained to mum and dad about it's just four people talking, they might not get it, but then you kind of delve in, and as JP said, it's like a mystery. And then the more you find out, the more you're sort of just, your mouth drops. and your mouth drops and your mouth drops, literally hanging throughout the whole film. Like, the subject matter is very heavy. I did watch it in 2 parts because it was quite difficult to get through for myself. And that's mainly because it's just sad, and it's just like everything's just so powerful about it. So it took me some time to sort of process it. But as producers as well, handling such a subject matter, like, do you feel like a responsibility to be respectable with the subject matter? And like, how do you go about handling it when you were in the pre-production, production, and post phase of it all?
Yeah, it's okay. I'll let you go ahead, JP.
Yeah, no, it's just you do take on a huge responsibility for something like this. One of the things we really focused on was to make sure that our event and the world within our story was completely fictional, as far as we're not basing it off a certain school shooting or one set of parents' stories or anything like that. It was completely fictional. Of course, it's based on real events. These meetings happen all the time between sets of parents, one being, one of a victim, one of the shooter, to have this reconciliation meeting years after, to kind of have everyone finish the grieving process and move on in some way in their lives. And we really wanted to show that without it being based on anyone or any event, because we didn't want to just highlight one thing. We wanted this to be any town USA, and then any event that you think of in your head. If it's the one close to you, if it's the one you saw on the news yesterday, if it's the big one, the first one that really resonates with you, like Columbine does with me, because I was so young and I was a student and I was like, wait, what happened? So am I thinking about that one? Am I thinking about Parkland? Am I thinking about the one that just happened 2 weeks ago outside of school? We didn't want to focus anywhere because we just wanted to keep it generalized and for the audience to make up their own location and story, and also the legality of it. You don't want to base it off anyone's trauma, anyone's personal trauma or anything like that. So yeah, we were able to create a nice fictional world about a very real problem. And it was a huge responsibility, and hats off to Fran for designing the script that way already. It came to us in perfect condition. So, and with all that in mind, he's a very sensitive guy. He started this process, this journey, because he became a parent. So he was very just sensitive and aware of everyone's situation. And it really shows in the piece.
Yeah, my sister was at Virginia Tech during the time, and so she knew a lot of people, and we did want to make sure we were very sensitive to everyone that survived it. I think another thing that went into the script that was interesting was there was no flashback. There was no kind of like living sensationalizing the violence of the act. There was none of that. It's all told through the eyes of these parents with the aftermath of it. And I think that goes in a long way, in handling the sensitivity of the subject.
I think not having a flashback is so powerful, because I guess when they're sort of recounting police report, I think it's even worse in your mind to understand the atrocity and what had happened. I think having a flashback, it'd be quite, I don't know, it just wouldn't fit right. It'd be kind of not grotesque, but very insensitive, whilst leaving the audience to picture it themselves and actually understand that you feel like you have the fear for those students, even though you know what the outcome is. On top of that, and that's what was probably that scene was the hardest to watch. And then for Jason Isaacs' character to sort of talk about it and say, oh, this, that, the other, and then having Reed's character just go through it verbatim for what he read, I just still gives me chills that he managed, that just like the idea of that and that scene. And it's also just incredible to think as well during these performances how much the actors will remember line wise as well, and just how they're just rattling off things like it's second nature.
Yeah, they really lived those characters. They spent a lot of time in the rehearsal process, more than any other independent film I've been on, because a lot of films you don't have that time. And Fran was insistent on, once we had our four main characters cast, that the rehearsal process started. And that was a month before we even got to Idaho to shoot. The cast met in New York, the four of them with Fran, and they just went over table work, and they were able to sit with that material for a month in character, studying, getting off book in a theatrical sense. And I've never seen actors so prepared in my life. As Jason says, Jason swears he didn't have it memorized, that he just he was just expressing what his character was going through, and I believe that. It was just amazing to watch. They just knew these characters inside and out because they had so much time. And then the way we shot, we'd shoot like 8 to 12 pages a day in that room. It was wild. But we had very short days because we would lose the sun outside the windows fairly early because it was nearly winter in Idaho. So we had short days. Cast was out by 5:30 p.m. each day, and they would use that extra creative time to go have dinner together and meet in each other's hotel rooms, and the four of them would go over the next day's work. The rehearsal process was just nonstop. They would have Fran come up or get him on the phone at midnight or something and answer questions about the next day's work, and they'd go over things for hours, and they were just so in it the whole time. They were just in there. They were working the whole time we were shooting, and even up to a month before. So when you see what they accomplish on screen and the way they're able to just list the events that happen in such a natural way, but almost like it's been studied, like the fathers studied it in each report, and it comes off so naturally. It's just, it's just amazing to watch and witness.
I think there's just the performances are incredible, and that's why Anne Dowd has been nominated for BAFTA. I'm pretty certain she got the nomination through that last scene when she talks to Jason's and Martha's character after Reed's left, because she's just, wow, what a performance. Yeah. But on top of that as well, you're telling about the rehearsal process, because in a weird way, you kind of forget that Fran's a first-time feature film director, and for this to be your first film, to come out of the gate like this as well is just like insane as well, because it's just so, excuse my language, just so fucking good. And I guess as producers, when you're working with a first-time director, and especially with someone who's so close to the script, how does your collaboration work, and how do you steer each other in the right direction and giving notes and sort of getting to the final product?
Yeah, it's a lot about trust, and we actually have a history of working with first-time directors. I think, knowing Fran, we'd worked with him before. We'd become friends, and we were able to build that trust with each other, to be able to talk story. We also were so lucky because he has this incredible history of being an actor. He's been doing it for 2 decades now, and he kind of knows what actors need, what kind of like how to give space. And so he was able to talk to us a lot about that, about what the actors would need is such a heavy piece. And so we were able to really work together in a way, and kind of, he'd be like, all right, this is what the actors need, this is what this. We're able to help them with like the production side, and just kind of like do that. And then together just talk creative, just talk about the movie. So it's been really thrilling in that way.
But I guess with the trust process as well, is it a case of you knew what you all sort of wanted as the end goal, and then did it grow from there? Or was it a case of knowing each other from before and sort of just going from there?
Yeah, we were all on the same page really quick in prep, even in the development stage, even before we had the first money in and was really pushing forward with the shooting schedule and everything. It was very easy. And I think it part of it was that we all have the same taste creatively. So that was easy to click. And then, yeah, the working relationship we had, he produced a movie about 5 years ago, and that's how we met him. So we had this shorthand together, and we could, be stern with each other and be honest already. So it was faster, so we had some serious conversations and some blow ups early. So we got it all out of the way, and it's all part of the creative process. And if you don't have them, that means the passion's not there, it seems like sometimes. So that's a different warning. So we were able to get through all that, and we had a history and a friendship, and we just all had the one goal. We said, we got to make this movie the best we can. We got to get the actors like this private space to just do that work that's on the page. And that was, Dylan and I's job, was to get the resources and create the space, the little literal space where all this magic can happen. And we just had to create a bubble around it, and maybe even keep people out, even sometimes literally standing in front of a doorway, keeping people out of a room while a rehearsal was happening, while some private moments, right? Just to protect the story and the actors and everything that was going on in there. So yeah, we were all on that page early and just were able to achieve it.
No, but that's as good as well as producers protecting your cast and everything when they're sort of rehearsing and letting them get on with it and understanding what they're creating. What I'm curious about as well is once you get the film once the film is finished and you start getting it onto festival circuits, what's the process of getting distribution for the film, and what are the meetings like, and how do you decide what is the best route for your film to go down to, or company to distribute it to?
Yeah, so for us, we spent a lot of time, in the post process, getting close. We had relationships with some sales reps. We had J Code at Gersh. We ended up having a screening, that got people excited about a little test screening. From there, Nico Giodi teamed up with us as well from CAA, and they kind of helped point us in the right direction. The plan was always, we knew that this was a festival movie, and that was always the goal, is to get it into big festival before we line up distributors. We wanted to go big there, and luckily we were able to get into Sundance. And from there, after we had such a great screening at Sundance, we were able to court some distributors. We ended up with Bleecker Street, who's done such an amazing job in getting the movie out there. But the plan was always get it into festivals, get people talking, and from there get sold.
It's really interesting being on that side of things after you get to a big festival, because then you have the companies reaching out to you, the distribution companies, and we had all of them there at the festival. They at least watched the film at the premiere, and it was a huge premiere because we were the first year it was virtual. And I think we had the biggest festival screening of all time. At one point, we sold over 5,000 tickets to a film festival event. And we had the first virtual standing ovation. Yeah, the Tabitha Jackson, who is the programmer at Sundance, went on her Instagram and Twitter and said, this is the first standing ovation of the festival. And it was just kind of wild. And you had all these companies and everything reaching out to you, and already had this big screening, and there was already this hoopla. So you just have the sales agents they start protecting you like we were protecting Fran in the movie. They start protecting us from all these outside. We were getting offers and stuff. It was wild. And Bleecker Street was actually the first company to come to us with a serious offer. And then the whole sales process is throughout the 2 weeks of Sundance, like everyone comes to you and all this stuff. It's crazy. We would get random calls from like, I won't say any names, but big streamers, and they'd be like, we're going to pass on Mass. And we're like, okay, we didn't ask you, we no one's had a conversation with these big shirts. They would just like, be like, we just want to make sure, you know, that we're not making we're like, we're good. Like we have theatrical offers, you know, like, it's really a unique process to go through. And, yeah, it's fun. It's where you want to be as a producer, you know. It's like you want to be looking at different offer sheets and who's going to really get the word out for your movie, because we just want people to see it. It was, you know, it was an instantly profitable movie for anyone who bought it and us, because we were able to do it at such a moderate budget. It's already made 3 times its budget back for us, and you know, the distribution, like that's not the issue. The profitability was always in the cards for a film of this size and of this importance. It was just about why Bleecker Street. It's because they came to us and they said, hey, this is an awards movie. We have to get everyone to watch this movie, and we're going to put the money behind getting those eyeballs on it, and getting Anne and the rest of the cast and Fran's script in front of people. Like, and that's what led to the Robert Altman Award at Film Independent, Fran's screenplay nomination there as well, which I think and hope will win. It's the best script I've ever read. And then Anne's BAFTA nomination. Yeah, it's just Bleecker Street put their money where their mouth was, and you know, we were able to weigh it against the other companies. We said these people are the best for it. So these folks are going to bring it to the most people, the widest audience, and that's what we cared about. And it just kind of grew from there. Now it's just this little movie that could, we call it, and then all the great critical acclaim and all the other great Rotten Tomato scores and all the people tweeting, it just became the grassroots campaign for it. It just started marketing itself in a way, just because it was a good little movie. So we're just like very proud of it. But that's the distro process. It's very interesting. So it's fun though.
Just before I ask my last question, there's one question I'm really kind of curious about. When you had distributors calling you up or passing and whatnot, did it make a difference to you for it to go straight to streaming, or did you guys push for like a theatrical release?
Theatrical was important to us. I mean, maybe it's just like the old filmmaker in us as well, but this movie was made to be experienced with others. So that's one of the key things to Bleecker Street's offer. They were like, we're going to put this in X amount of theaters and have it grow over weeks. And that was the key for us, because we just had to like have people sit down in a theater together and experience this, because it's a conversation starter. So this was a particularly important thing for us to have theatrical, because we wanted the group, like mass, it's like a conjugation of bodies, and we wanted that for our audience as well to come together and watch this work unfold and have your cell phone off and not be distracted at home and stuff like that. And it really paid off. We went to multiple screenings and just enjoyed it with the audience and listened to tears in real life and had 2-hour conversations after in the lobby. It was just amazing. So that was a very important part of our deal and choosing Bleecker Street as well.
That was very thrilling, being in theaters with people and experiencing it with them. That was wonderful.
Yeah, I can imagine, as you said, no dry eye in the house. Or maybe from you guys, because you've seen it a number of times, but...
Oh, I just say I still tear up. It's okay. I'm an emotional person.
Yeah, I wish I was able to see this in the cinema. I was watching it by myself, so luckily no one saw me crying. My final question for you guys is, what's next for you both?
Yeah, so we're excited. We just we're in post-production on another feature called Little Brother. We have J.K. Simmons, who Oscar winner and just got nominated today. So that's been really exciting. He's so amazing in our movie. We got Phil Edinger and Dan Deemer, two young actors that are just incredible. We're really excited about it. It deals with another very important issue. It's about suicide and how it kind of affects a family. It's about a guy who picks up his little brother from the hospital after attempted suicide, and just them kind of confronting the trauma together and going through it is all about what the movie's about.
I'll keep my eye out on that.
Yeah, it's really another really good drama. It's similar tone to Mass with, thematically it's a bit lighter because the characters are on this journey and they're brothers, so there's a brotherly love touch to it. It's really sweet. We actually just were able to lock the cut this week, and we're submitting to the biggest film festivals in the world right now. We have 2 lined up that we're very excited about. We don't want to jinx it though and tell you, but yeah, they're it's big, and we get some major festivals already tracking it, and we're chatting with personally, and it's just another great movie that's going to get a lot of emotion out of the audience, and that's kind of our key right now is socially impactful films.
No, it's good. I'd like to keep an eye out for that and see when it comes over to the UK. Dylan, JP, thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate you talking to me about Mass. For those interested, Mass is now streaming on Sky Movies. I'm not sure where it is streaming around the world, so I can't give you that information, but I can put it in the show notes.
Yeah, but it's been doing really well. Sky's been an amazing partner. They just have really championed this film and supporting Anne and the BAFTA nomination. So if you've listened to the podcast this long, make sure you get the movie now. So it's on Sky. It's amazing, and please continue the grassroots on social media, especially with your UK friends, so that they know Anne is the real deal and they got to check it out and vote for it for the BAFTA.
Put their votes in.Maybe I shouldn't say that just in case it looks like we're fixing it or something.
No, we're just telling people to go see it. That's all. That's how powerful it is. We just got to say, go see it, and then they'll vote for it. Trust me. It's amazing.
No, I will make sure. I've already recommended it to a number of friends. I'm trying to get other people to watch it now as well. What can I say, guys? Thank you so much again, and take care. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank
man.
you. Bye-bye. Thank you for listening. Please subscribe, rate, and review this podcast.